A woman walked for miles in the middle of a thunderstorm to save her husband, but when she arrived at the service station, the manager refused to help her. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. It was a dark and stormy night. Tara Wilson stared out of the service station's wide window at the pouring rain inside. Just then, a streak of lightning flashed across the sky and the sound of thunder split the night. Night duty at a gas station wasn't exactly the exciting job Tara had been dreaming of when she went to journalism school, but unfortunately she'd had to leave college to support her ailing mother. What Tara didn't know was that the dreary night was about to become a lot more exciting. Even as Tara thought about her life, a frail figure was stumbling towards her in the dark, almost bent double against the force of the wind and the driving train. Tara was almost asleep when a gasping voice interrupted her reverie. "Please, oh please!" Tara, who was seated behind the service station's counter, jumped to her feet. In front of her, dripping equal portions of rain and mud, was an older woman. Her clothes were plastered with oil, dirt, and mud, and dark streaks of makeup ran down her face. "Ma'am?" Tara gasped. "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you come in." The woman took another stumbling step forward and held onto the counter with desperate hands. "Please," she gasped again, "I need your help." "Oh, I'll just bet you do," a harsh masculine voice interrupted. It was Tara's boss, Mr. Anderson, the service station's night manager, who must have heard the woman enter from the back office where he spent his nights online on dubious sites. "Never deny a person in need of help." "I've had enough of you derelicts walking and cadging hot food and coffee every time it rains." Mr. Anderson snarled. "Get out!" "Please," the woman said in a calmer voice, and Tara noticed she had a sweet voice and an educated accent. "I need help. My phone is smashed." "Help?" sneered Mr. Anderson. "Did you drive here? Do you need gas or motor oil? Do you have money or a credit card?" "No," the woman said. "You don't understand. I understand you just fine," the manager snarled. "Get out!" "No car and no money. You get nothing." The woman pressed her shaking hands together. "My husband and I had a car accident. He's lying unconscious on the road. All I ask is that you make a phone call." Tara made up her mind and stepped forward. "Ma'am, I'll call 911 for you," she said. She picked up the receiver of the service station's landline and dialed. She frowned and picked up her cell phone, then shook her head. "I'm sorry," she told the woman, "but the storm probably took down the phone lines and the cell tower. Where did you crash?" The woman's lips were trembling. "My poor John. Oh, my poor John." Tara came around the counter and put her arm around the woman's sopping wet shoulders. "Come on, ma'am, I'll drive you to him. We'll take him to the hospital." The manager was enraged. "You most certainly will not," he screamed. "You walk out that door and you're fired." Tara looked at Mr. Anderson and said quietly, "Go ahead, fire me, but I won't leave a man dying by the roadside." "Thank you, my dear," cried the woman. "My husband is an influential man. You won't regret this. No matter who your husband is, I won't regret it, ma'am," said Tara as she settled the woman into her car and buckled her seatbelt. "My mother always taught us to help whenever we could, no matter who it is." With the woman's guidance, Tara found the scene of the accident. The car was completely destroyed, and by the side of the road and covered with a blanket was an older man. "John!" the woman cried, kneeling by his side. "I'm here, darling. I found help." The man opened his eyes and tried to speak, but he was obviously too weak. Tara and the woman managed to get him into her car's back seat, and they drove to the hospital through the pouring rain. As soon as the hospital staff had the man in hand, Tara asked them to take a look at the woman, too, who was shivering from shock and exhaustion. Then she allowed herself to sink into one of the waiting room chairs. A while later, a tall young doctor came over and asked if she had been the one who'd brought the older couple over. "Yes," Tara said. "Are they all right?" "Thanks to you," said the doctor with a smile. "Mrs. Smythe told me what you did. Her husband had internal bleeding, and another half an hour would have been too late. We're also treating Mrs. Smythe for shock and hypothermia." "Mrs. Smythe, that's the lady's name?" asked Tara. "And they are going to be all right?" "Yes, you saved their lives," said the doctor, casting Tara an admiring look. "You're a hero." "No," said Tara. "Mrs. Smythe is the hero. She walked 5 miles in the rain to get help for her husband, and she never gave up." As it turned out, Mr. Smythe was the owner of the local TV station, and his news team told the story of how Tara lost her job to save 2 lives. Mr. Anderson was mentioned by name, and his boss fired him for casting the company in a bad light. When Mr. Smythe discovered that Tara was a semester away from her journalism major, he hired her as a junior reporter. She was earning a lot more than she had at the service station and doing what she loved. Rumor has it that Tra has been dating a handsome young doctor she met in an emergency room one dark and stormy night, and he might be on the verge of popping the question. Tara's life had taken an unexpected turn, and she couldn't have been happier. The job at the TV station was everything she had ever dreamed of. She was finally able to put her journalism skills to use, and every day brought new challenges and opportunities to grow. Tara was determined to prove herself in the fast-paced world of news, and with each story she covered, she gained more confidence and respect from her colleagues. One day, Tara was assigned to cover a story about a local charity event, something that seemed routine at first but ended up being much more significant. The charity was raising funds for families affected by severe storms, and as Tara interviewed the event organizers and attendees, she was reminded of the night she had met Mrs. Smythe. It was a full-circle moment, and she realized how far she had come since that fateful stormy night. Tara's report on the event was well received, and her boss praised her for her compassionate storytelling. As time passed, Tara continued to excel at her job, often taking on more challenging assignments. She was becoming known for her ability to connect with people and tell their stories in a way that resonated with viewers. One of her most significant assignments came when she was asked to investigate a series of incidents at local service stations, ironically the same type of place where she had once worked. The investigation revealed that several stations had been neglecting safety protocols, leading to dangerous situations for customers and employees alike. Tara's investigative report exposed the negligence and led to widespread changes in how these service stations operated. Her work was recognized by her peers, and she was nominated for a regional journalism award. Tara was both excited and humbled by the recognition, but she never forgot the lessons she had learned from her mother, to always help others and to stand up for what was right, no matter the cost. In the midst of her professional success, Tara's personal life was also flourishing. The handsome young doctor, whose name was Dr. Alex Mitchell, had indeed become a significant part of her life. Their relationship had deepened over the months, and they found that they shared many of the same values and dreams for the future. Alex admired Tara's courage and dedication, and Tara was drawn to Alex's compassion and intelligence. They spent their weekends exploring the city, attending charity events, and discussing their hopes for the future. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Tara returned home to find Alex waiting for her with a bouquet of flowers and a nervous smile. He suggested they go for a walk, and as they strolled through the park, he stopped at a spot overlooking the city skyline. There, under the twinkling lights of the city, Alex got down on one knee and asked Tara to marry him. Overwhelmed with emotion, Tara said yes, and the couple embraced, knowing they were about to start a new chapter in their lives. The news of Tara's engagement spread quickly among her friends and colleagues, and the couple was showered with well wishes. The wedding planning began, and Tara found herself busier than ever, juggling her growing career and the excitement of planning a future with Alex. Despite the whirlwind of activity, Tara remained grounded, remembering the journey that had brought her to this point. As the wedding day approached, Tara reflected on the twists and turns her life had taken. She had faced adversity, made difficult choices, and ultimately found her way to happiness and fulfillment. The night she had helped Mrs. Smythe seemed like a lifetime ago, but it had set in motion a chain of events that had changed her life forever. On the day of the wedding, as Tara walked down the aisle, she couldn't help but think of her mother, who had always taught her to be strong and compassionate. Tara knew that her mother would be proud of the woman she had become, someone who was not only successful but also kind and resilient. Surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues, Tara and Alex exchanged vows, promising to support and love each other through whatever challenges life might bring. The reception was a joyous celebration filled with laughter, dancing, and heartfelt speeches. Mr. and Mrs. Smythe, who had become close friends of Tara and Alex, were there to toast the couple, grateful for the night that had brought them all together. As the evening drew to a close, Tara looked around the room, filled with love and happiness, and knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The future was bright for Tara and Alex. They talked about starting a family, continuing their careers, and giving back to the community that had supported them. Tara, who had once felt lost and uncertain, now felt a sense of purpose and direction. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she and Alex would face them together, just as they had on that dark and stormy night when their paths had first crossed. And so, as they embarked on their new life as husband and wife, Tara couldn't help but feel grateful for the journey that had brought her to this moment. The storm that had once seemed so overwhelming had led her to a place of peace, love, and fulfillment, a place where she could truly say she was living her best life. In the weeks following their wedding, Tara and Alex settled into their new life together, savoring the quiet moments of newlywed bliss. Tara continued her work at the TV station, her passion for storytelling growing with each passing day. Meanwhile, Alex, ever the supportive husband, encouraged Tara to take on more ambitious projects, knowing that her drive and talent were bound to take her far. One day, Tara received a surprising offer from a well-known national news network. They had been following her work and were impressed by her ability to connect with viewers on a deeper level. The offer was for a primetime segment, where Tara would have the opportunity to tell stories that mattered on a much larger scale. It was a dream come true, but the opportunity came with a catch. It would require Tara and Alex to move to a different city. The decision weighed heavily on Tara. On one hand, it was the chance of a lifetime, a culmination of everything she had worked so hard for. On the other hand, she and Alex had just started building their life together, and she worried about the impact such a move might have on their marriage. After several long conversations where they both shared their hopes and fears, Alex reassured Tara that he would support her no matter what. "We're a team," he said, "and wherever you go, I'll be right there with you." With Alex's unwavering support, Tara accepted the offer. The move was challenging, and there were moments when Tara felt overwhelmed by the demands of her new job. However, Alex was always there to remind her of why she had chosen this path, and slowly, Tara found her footing. Her segment quickly became one of the network's most watched, and she was praised for her empathetic and insightful reporting. Looking back on everything that had happened, the stormy night, the decision to help Mrs. Smythe, losing her job at the service station, and now starting a new chapter in a new city, Tara realized how each step had led her to where she was meant to be. Life had come full circle, and she was more certain than ever that with Alex by her side, she could face whatever the future held. Together, they had weathered the storms, and now they were ready to embrace the sunshine that awaited them.